The comeback king. That is what Anthony Joshua wants to be known as. After getting dominated by Ukrainian icon Oleksandr Usyk back in September 2021, many believe that his time at the top was pretty much over. But now, former professional boxer turned analyst Johnny Nelson has expressed that AJ is showing serious intentions ahead of their highly anticipated rematch. So, let's dive in. First off, AJ is following in Muhammad Ali's footsteps. On August 20th, AJ and Usyk will face off in front of a crowd of 40,000 people at the Jeddah Superdome in Saudi Arabia. The IBF, WBA, and WBO heavyweight titles will be on the line. A lot of boxing fans seem to believe that Usyk is just the superior fighter, and there's nothing the Brit can do to one-up him. But as always, AJ is hell-bent on proving all of his doubters wrong. Footage of the two-time world champion training in Jeddah recently surfaced on social media, and many praised him for taking this rematch so seriously. Nelson told Sky Sports that this is a very good sign because it shows that he wants to acclimatize, get used to the heat, get used to the environment, and make a second home for himself out there. He also compared AJ's early arrival to that of the legendary Muhammad Ali, who traveled to Zaire months before he defeated George Foreman in 1974. He was there for longer than he expected to be and then proved that staying and practicing was the right decision. Nelson expressed that he believes AJ is in Jeddah because he knows he's got to do it right this time, and he's sure his team and all his sparring partners are there with him as well. He then added that we can read into so many things, but this move shows serious intentions and that he's out there on business, which is always a must. The possible advantages for arriving this early could be crucial because this fight could end up being decided by the smallest of margins. Next, Nelson says that both fighters will change tactics. According to Nelson, it's not an impossible ask for AJ to get the win because he has the ability and all the necessary tools to do it. All he needs to do is make sure he chooses the right tactics. He explained that both fighters have shared the ring together and are aware of each other's strengths and weaknesses. Usyk will be looking to put the pressure on AJ early because he almost had the Brit out in the first fight, and AJ will be looking to beat Usyk at his own game and going for broke from the very beginning, which could put his opponent under a lot of pressure. He then said that neither of them is going to go there with the same tactics they did last time around because as far as Usyk is concerned, he'll want to finish his opponent off after the last fight went the distance. And AJ will want to go in there and end it quickly as well because he'll know that the longer the fight goes on, the more it will favor Usyk, and he can't afford to let him feel comfortable in his presence. And Nelson believes AJ's new coach will help him change his mentality. Possibly the most important news to come out of the build-up to this fight is that AJ has officially parted company with Rob McCracken and replaced him with Robert Garcia, the Mexican-American coach who's widely believed to be one of the best in the business. And rightly so. The man has a whole catalog of world champions on his CV. And Nelson believes that the highly decorated coach is going to bring a new mindset, which will prove to be very, very important. He expressed that AJ is a sportsman who's polite and a gentleman, but he absolutely has to bring a new mindset and some gamesmanship when he gets in the ring with Usyk this time around. If he goes in there with the same attitude he had in their previous bout, he'll lose. It's really that simple. He has to go in there with a completely positive and confident mentality, and that is the only way he can stand a chance. But honestly, it looks like AJ already knows all this already. After all, he's publicly said that he realizes he was outplayed in the last fight and he's looking to seriously switch things up this time around. Getting a new coach, training continuously, going to Jeddah a couple of months before the bout, and all his statements prove that he's committed to giving himself a better chance in the ring. He has even said that he gives Usyk and his credit and that he really respects the opponent's craft. But all that just motivates him to be better, and we have to say, we really admire that. We cannot express how excited we are for this fight. It's going to be a spectacle. Here's hoping both fighters give their all and it lives up to all this hype. And that's all about how Anthony Joshua is showing serious intentions ahead of his rematch with Oleksandr Usyk. Now it's time to move on to some more related news. Now, in other related news. First up, AJ talks about his decision to confront students. Before traveling to Saudi Arabia, AJ was busy training at Loughborough University, and during his stay, a lot of students gave him grief for supposedly avoiding a fight with Tyson Fury. And finally, at one point, he had enough and he confronted the hecklers and threatened to break their jaws. Obviously, they had nothing to say after that and let the boxer continue training in peace. Speaking on the incident to JD Sports, he said that he told the guys that he's here to work and not play games. He told them that he's shown them the ultimate respect since he's been here. But if they want to go down this path of trading words, that's fine by him. And then he asked them if they would like it if he broke their jaws. Yikes! AJ expressed that he didn't want to address it like that, but he really felt bad for any other students who go through this and don't have the courage to address the hecklers and call them out for what they're doing. Well, safe to say, they'll be much more careful in the future. Imagine getting scolded by the Anthony Joshua. We would not be able to recover. Next up, Hasim Rahman Jr. calls Jake Paul a fraud. Jake Paul and Hasim Rahman Jr. are set to fight on August 6th at the prestigious Madison Square Garden. Jake was initially supposed to fight Tommy Fury, but unfortunately, the Brit had to pull out because he was denied entry into the United States. Hasim will be looking to end Jake's dream run in professional boxing and bring him back to earth. And it appears that the two have genuine beef. Hasim recently said that Jake was the one who started advocating for increasing the pay for fighters, but now that he's finally in a fight with a boxer, he's paying him less than half of what he gave to the MMA fighter Tyron Woodley. Hasim claimed that Jake is using boxing to catapult to MMA and that the controversial influencer turned pro fighter is stealing from boxing. And this is why he's decided to not promote the fight at all and is just focusing on training. Considering how much people don't seem to like Jake, Hasim will almost definitely have the crowd on his side at the MSG. It remains to be seen if he'll use that to his advantage and humble the so-called problem child. As for Jake, this is probably his most important fight so far because it's the first time he's facing a so-called real boxer. The 25-year-old will be looking to rise up to challenge and prove all his detractors wrong once and for all. Finally, Juan Manuel Marquez does not approve of non-boxers entering the sport. In recent years, we've seen social media influencers, retired UFC and NBA athletes, and a lot of other non-professionals jumping on the boxing bandwagon. And former four-division world champion Juan Manuel Marquez does not like the direction the sport is heading in. He recently claimed that this new trend is damaging to boxing and is actually super disrespectful. He believes that the sport is something to be taken seriously, and a fighter trains, prepares, and leaves everything inside the ring. It's not fair that YouTubers and former basketball or football players are entering the sport. Boxing deserves respect because when you fight, a life is at stake. While we agree with him to some extent, the fact of the matter is that these exhibition fights between celebrities have only brought the sport more publicity. Many used to believe that boxing was dying, but because of this recent resurgence, that's not the case anymore. It's just that people need to realize that these celebrities can never be on the same level as professional fighters who have been doing this their entire lives. They're just there to put on a show, and there's nothing wrong with that. And that's a wrap for this video. Do you think AJ has what it takes to defeat Oleksandr Usyk, or will he suffer another humiliating defeat? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. Goodbye for now, and see you in the next one.